Hey guys, so today I'm here with a monthly recommendations video that's actually filmed at the good time of the month, because most of the time it's like the last day or the couple of days before the end of the month that I film my monthly recommendations and my monthly book chat. So I'm trying. I am really trying to be able to film earlier and to make it better. But anyway, this month's theme is retellings, and oh my god, retellings are like my favourite thing because it's like, you know the story and you can see where it's going to go, but I love the way that authors do take original stories and recreate and make it their own thing and turn them into amazing original stories in a sense. Like, even though they start with this base idea, they become something else, and it's just so much fun. So I've got 7 books to recommend and I'm excited. They're probably all well-known books and probably everyone's read them, but they're my favourite ones to recommend, so let's get into it. So the first book I'd like to recommend is Tell the Wind and Fire by Sarah Rees Brennan, and this is a retelling of A Tale of Two Cities. This one actually isn't known by many people and it needs to be read by more people. I actually have never read A Tale of Two Cities, so I actually had to Google the story before I read this just so I know what like story I was going into before the retelling, and like, my god, this book does it so well with the element of having like demons happening in this book. Like, there is demons, there is fighting, there is war, and there's a lot of interesting story concepts just in this small book. It's very small, but guys, like, you need to read this. This was in my list of favourite books of last year because it's so good. So good, and I just want everyone to read it, and it's just such a beautiful retelling of that story, and I just loved it. The next book I'd like to recommend is The Forbidden Wish by Jessica Corey, and this is a retelling of Aladdin, but with the genie being a female, which is an interesting spin on the story because, again, it's a reimagining and the author making it her own, and having the perspective of the story from the genie's point of view actually showed a different light on Aladdin, which I really enjoyed, and just Zara as the main character, she's just beautiful and I love her. The next book I'd like to recommend is one of my favourites ever, and that is The Wrath and the Dawn by Renee Ahdieh. And this book is a retelling of 1001 Nights. Again, this book does the retelling very well, and I enjoyed reading the aspects of this story, and it was so good. And again, I didn't actually know what the story was going into this, but then I googled it and I was like, okay, I'm up to date, I know what's going to happen, I understand the story concept, and it's great. And just Shahrazad and Khaled are so dear to my heart, so it's all so good. Everyone, I feel like a lot of people have read this, so thank you. Thank you for being a part of this fandom because it's great. The next book I'd like to recommend is The Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer. I've only actually read Cinder, Scarlet and Cress, but these are really good because they're retellings of classic fairy tales done so well. So Cinder is a retelling of Cinderella, Scarlet is a retelling of Little Red Riding Hood, Cress is a retelling of Rapunzel, and Winter is a retelling of Snow White, and they're all great. Like, I mean, I haven't read Winter yet, but I want to next month. I'm planning to do like some series reading bulk so that I can actually get more of my goals done again. I definitely like the spin of the story and how these all intertwine and all the different point of views, and it's just done so good, and I'm just like, mate, everyone has, but a lot of people have read this series though, so I'm recommending it, but a lot of people probably have read it. The next book I'd like to recommend is Never Never by Brianna R. Shrum, I can never say her name, it's Shrum. This book is actually an origin story for Captain Hook, so we get to see how he goes crazy, which is very interesting and something I really like seeing, and it's done very well in this book that we feel for him but also hate him. So it's a very good villain's origin story, but you know how they all, like, all origin stories for villains and shit. So be prepared that it will end in very dark territory, but mate, read it. It's very good. The next book I'd like to recommend is Entwined by Heather Dixon, and this is a retelling of the 12 Dancing Princesses story, and that's one of my favourite fairy tales, and I always loved watching the Disney version of this, and then finding out there were some books, I was like, yes, give it to me because it's so beautiful. I just love how the aspect of this story does get made and how there's so much dancing and fun and magic, and like, I've got 2 retellings of this and they're very different even though they have the same story happening, but it's just, oh my god, it's so beautiful. Entwined is a great book that everyone needs to read. And last book I'd like to recommend is certainly not least, and that is I Called Her Thorns and Roses by Sarah J Maas. This Beauty and the Beast retelling is actually done so well because I read this book ages ago, right? And I read and I was like, yeah, it's a Beauty and the Beast retelling, kind of talking about it, but it wasn't until I reread it that I actually realized how much and how many elements, and there's always elements now because I think Beauty and the Beast retellings are the ones that I look for most in the book retelling world. So I have so many waiting for me to read, and I've read a few, but there's elements of the story that I look for because I need like a really, really good retelling, because Beauty and the Beast is the best thing ever, but it's just, there's always these little elements that I look for, and Akija has as them. So definitely a great retelling that leads into an amazing story that's not even Beauty and the Beast, and it's just like, yes, yes. So these are all the retellings I'd like to recommend you guys, and I hope you check them all out, or if you've read them all, then you're amazing, because these books are all good. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching this video, and I'll talk to you later. Bye!